All right, today's video, I'm going over some maintenance issues we've got to address here on our 336 John Deere square baler, as my brother calls it, idiot squares. We had a couple bearings go out on our plunger, which compensated, made it drop and wear out, which that's one of the bearings, and that's all that's left of one of the other bearing, just the inner race here. And then while we're at it, we went ahead and replaced the other. I also have some pickup teeth that I've got to replace, which we replaced that. As you can see right here, the scraper on the side of the plunger, you can see right there where it's worn down, right there. But I'm gonna go through, kind of walk through essentially what the process is to get the plunger taken apart and pulled out, and hopefully it helps you if you need to do it. Should be the same for a John Deere 346, which is a step above the 336, just a bigger pickup, and then the 24T, which is a step lower than the 336 here. If you follow us on Instagram, you've probably seen what's going on, and while you're at it, follow us if you're not, and hit the subscribe button down here below and the bell icon next to it, so that way you'll be notified. And I've got some tutorials out there, how we do stuff, how we fix stuff, so follow along as I go through this square baler. Wow, there you go. All the bearings are replaced. This was a booger. I had to get the torch to heat it out. That bearing's back in, and then this bearing. This bearing was the only one on this side, and this one probably didn't need to be replaced, but you know, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and replace all three. This is the scraper that I mentioned. It goes on the side of the plunger right back here. Sits like that. Well, you can see how much it's worn off. You can see how much it's worn down, and it's kind of shiny. It's come to a point here. That is the plunger. It's kind of a booger to get out, but it's real simple. There's 2 bolts on the top of the pitman arm right there. And if you're familiar with the baler, obviously you know what this does and where it moves. That's where the pitman arm hooks on. You just take those 2 bolts off. You want to have it kind of up and out. Next thing you got to do is this bale chamber. You want to make sure that pitman arm, you're going to have somebody, you can hook it up to a come along and pull back that way, but it's got to go back the chute. But you'll want to make sure that pitman arm, the end of the T that hooks onto this, doesn't get caught right there and you get stuck. Then you need to make sure these are, if you've got a hydraulic, you want it lifted all the way up, and not, you want to loosen this all the way up so it can come up, so that way it gives it room for that plunger to get out. Next, you'll have 4 bolts. Next, you'll have 4 bolts on either side. You'll want to take off your hay resistors. Say it with me. I got in trouble for this. These are called hay resistors. Not louvers, not a baffle, but hay resistors. You got to take these out, or else you won't get the plunger out. And then from there, hay dogs, which is that guy. The hay dog is this guy right here. There's one on the bottom here, which is just held on with a spring and a clip, and then there's 2 up top. There's 2 up top. See that spring right there, and the spring right there. You want to make sure these hay dogs are up and out of the way, or else your plunger won't come out either. Which, to do that, the book says you just lift them up. Right there it is. Right there's the top, which you just want to lift it up, and you'll stick a washer under there if you need. You want to make sure, see, there's the arm. You want to make sure that doesn't get caught in the front of the baler, and then you're going to have somebody pushing or pulling. You know, you just got to slide it out this way. That's the only way to do it. And then you take your stationary knife, which we sharpened up. We're not going to replace or sharpen I'm not going to sharpen my plunger knife because the way it's damaged, You can see that right there. We're not even gonna bother with it. So I had 3 people helping me pull this out, so they were holding that up while I pushed from up inside up there, pushed this way, and then we used crowbars to whatnot to pry and pull, because ours was, the bearing was out on this side, so it was leaning to the right, and it was kind of a headache to get out. But that's essentially how you get it out. And I've got to wait on some more parts so I can get that all back together, and then we'll show you the assembly. So stay tuned for part 2.